Hey everybody, I'm back today with a new layout, and this layout comes with a coordinating blog post over on Traci Reed Designs blog. I am going to be hosting my own blog post, and along with that blog post I'm going to have a process video, and we're calling the whole thing Hybrid Hijinks. It will focus on mixing and matching and getting the most out of your printable products, as well as items to pull in from your stash to use with those printable products so that you get lovely, creative scrapbook papers and projects. My plan for these blog posts and videos is actually going to be to focus on techniques. Today, I'm going to be focusing on using your stamps with your printed hybrid papers. Stamps and ink are one of the things that many of us have in our stash that work perfectly with hybrid products. One of the reasons for that is because you're printing your products with ink on paper, which means that paper is all ready to go. It is ready to take all of your ink. So if you've printed out your printable elements, then you are ready to stamp on those elements. And that paper is going to take that ink and suck it up like nobody's business. If you would like to know more about what papers work really well for hybrid printing, make sure to grab the playlist on my channel. There is a playlist called Hybrid Bootcamp, which talks about all of the products, printers, papers, everything that you need, or everything that I recommend for printing digital products. I was inspired by this layout a little bit from a class that I recently took. Well, I didn't recently take it. I bought it ages ago, but I kind of got back into it. And that is Chamel's half and half class. Now, nothing in this video and no part of my design is from the class. And pretty much I just took the idea of splitting my paper in half. I decided that for my half and half, I wanted to stamp and kind of split this paper into two pieces. I'm using a stamp set from my stash that is all kinds of sewing stitches. These are some of my absolute 100% favorite stamps because I can't sew. Sewing and I don't get along. We are not friends. I can do a little bit of like hand stitching on papers sometimes, but it's not my favorite things to do. Not gonna lie, rather stamp. So we're stamping. I am using Icing on the Cake ink from Catherine Pooler. I think I ended up using did I use two stitching stamps? I might have. I have quite a few of stitching stamps, and I love to mix and match them and play with them. So that's where I started my page design, was stamping and splitting my background paper in half. I am using all elements from the digital collection, My Person, which I will link the papers in the description box below. You can find them over in Traci Reed's shop. Her shop is organized by like paper packs, embellishments, traveler's notebook papers, those kinds of things. So just know that you are looking for the My Person elements. Once I split my layout in half, I am going to use stamps to kind of create more of a background. For the left side, I wanted the look of mixed media. Now, when you have a hybrid sheet of 12 by 12 paper like this, when you have printed paper on paper that is supposed to take ink, one of the things it won't take is water. So you can't do any of your kind of typical normal mixed media applications on a sheet of paper you have printed at home. The water the wet media will wick away the ink that's on the paper. So it's very important to kind of find some different ways to do that if you are someone who loves the look of a messy mixed media background. For me, that means stamps. There are so many amazing stamp sets out there that replicate the look of mixed media. Things like splatters, things like these kind of blotchy, they almost look like alcohol ink sort of shapes. These are great stamps to have in your background, in your arsenal, for days when you are working with a hybrid paper, or on days when you want the look of mixed media, but you don't want the mess of mixed media. For the right side of my page, I'm going to switch up my colors and go with some of the light minty greens that are in the My Person collection. And I'm going to use this script stamp. I don't want mixed media on both sides. I wanted a different type of stamp on either side of my half and half layout. So I am stamping kind of messily. I'm using some light and some dark green ink. This is Sage and Seafoam ink from Catherine Polar. I'm kind of letting them play together on my stamp set. And then I'm going to have this fun kind of scripty look for the right side of my page. Now it's time to go ahead and get this page together. I am going to take a 3x4 card from the journaling card set, and I'm going to go ahead and trim it down. This is going to be my title for my page. I'm using another kind of ink too. So another way we can add some depth and dimension and fun details to our hybrid projects is by inking up our paper edges. So I have my very favorite ink for that application, which is Distress Oxide ink in Vintage Photo. It's like the perfect, most gorgeous brown. I also like Hickory Smoke, which is a nice gray. But for today, we're going to stick with the Vintage Photo. I printed my photo at home. Same printer that I printed my paper on, printed my photo too. I always print at home with a white border. And the cool thing about that is, then when you're ready to mat your photo, you just cut that white border off and you go ahead and get your mat and cut that at 4x6. And you're perfect and good to go. I don't know why my photo dimensions just totally slipped my mind, but they did. I decided I wanted my title kind of at an angle and that I wanted to staple it to the mats that's around my photo. So that's what I'm going to do here. This is going to be kind of like the basic layout design we are going for. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use some foam tape. I'm going to pop up my photo. I'm going to pop up my little title piece, and then we can go ahead and start to choose some spots to embellish on our layout. Unfortunately, and this is just the way it is, it's going to be very, very hard for you to completely, totally, and absolutely 100% match ink colors to your hybrid products. This is for a number of reasons. For one thing, all printers see colors and print colors slightly differently than the way that things are going to look on your screens. Secondly, ink colors, you would need every color in the book to like perfectly match all these colors, right? Sometimes you're going to get close, very, very close. And so for me, the way I kind of work around this is I get as close to the colors as I possibly can with the inks that I have in my stash. And then I make sure that in addition to the background, I also stamp and die cut or fussy cut some elements that I can use to sprinkle in with my printed embellishments. This kind of makes everything look cohesive. So in the background, we have those splatters in the clay mask and the icing on the cake ink. We have the text in the Seafoam and the Sage ink. So when I went ahead and kind of thought about how I wanted to do the embellishments, I stamped some flowers and some leaves in some of those ink colors. The ink colors that I had in my stash that most closely matched the colors in my hybrid papers. By taking those colors and kind of mixing them in, nothing looks out of place. Everything looks cohesive because these colors coordinate with our hybrid products, and they will be in multiple places around our layout. It's amazing how this works. If I had just taken the embellishments that only kind of matched, the ink colors that coordinated but weren't exact, and had placed them on this page without adding in some of those ink colors I used in the background, you would have noticed. It would have stuck out like a sore thumb that they didn't exactly match, right? But because I have gone ahead and included these coordinating ink colors in multiple areas of my layout, not just one, suddenly you can see that everything is cohesive and coordinates and looks beautiful together. And there we are, all done. I hope that this has given you some good information you can take away and use, not only maybe with your hybrid scrapbooking, but also in your regular scrapbooking. And I also hope that you'll give hybrid scrapbooking a try. It is so much fun. It really opens up the world to you in what you can choose with regard to patterns and themes and collections. And I can't wait to continue on with this, and I'll see you next month for more hybrid hijinks. Bye.